Welcome back, Deadites and Ghost Beaters, and of course, Comic-Con is the gift that keeps on giving as Bruce does amazing 15 to 20 minute interviews and just drops amazing gold all the time. And this time, we're going to talk about what he has to say about Ash versus the Evil Dead. But before we do that, if you like this Evil Dead content, please drop a like and a comment below. It really does help the channel. And I answer all my comments, of course. Smash that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell for all Evil Dead and horror-related content. And of course, if you're looking for people to play with in the game, or you just like to talk about, Bruce Campbell, horror movies, whatever, click on that link below. It's our Discord. We have a thriving Evil Dead and horror-based community. Now, I'm going to show you a quick clip here. It's about 2 minutes about what Bruce has to say about not only the end of Ash vs. the Evil Dead, but possibly the future.
A little bit about Evil Dead. In particular, just like Ash versus Evil Dead. I don't think I'll ever get over the cancellation of that show. But now that we are, some years removed from that, are you able to share anything at all about what the plan for season 4 was? Because that was an A+ cliffhanger.
Well, and we didn't design it to be a cliffhanger. We knew the ratings were bad after the end of the second season. We knew it. No one knew what Starz was. I would say, hey, we're making Evil Dead as a TV show. People would go, yeah. Where can I see it? Starz. And then there would be a pause, and then they would go, what's Starz? When it dropped on Netflix, people went, hey, cool. Netflix is finally doing the Evil Dead show. I'm like, oh my God. It was three years too late. So it's okay. It's commerce. It's business. These companies were all expanding. AMC led the way. We're not just going to show other people's movies. We're going to make our own original stuff. So everyone is making their own original stuff. Starz used to just show other people's movies. So the new sort of paradigm is, no, you own it. It's going to cost you a lot of money, but now you own these properties. So Starz tried to do the same thing, but no one knew who they were.
Is there any hope in your mind and Sam's mind whatsoever for the continuation of that story?
As an animated series, you pick up right where the show left off.
Okay.
You can do the future a lot easier in animation.
That's fair.
And I still sound like Ash. And my voice doesn't have, my voice hasn't been as beat up as my body has been. So I can still do that crap. So I'll still do the video game. And we're already talking about animated.
I have all the faith in the world. If there was more live action Ash, you would still kick ass.
No, I hang up this.
I know.
No, it's official.
You have earned the right. You have given us quite a bit.
We left it on the table. Look. People always go, we needed Evil Dead 4. Instead, you got 15 hours of completely. It's the most unrated television show made in the history of television. I mean, my head goes up a cadaver's butt.
That's seared in my brain for life.
Top that. I mean, that's you can't get that out of your head. So the fans did get the mother load, and they're enjoying it now because they're just now finding it. And I'm like, fine, doesn't matter.
And we're going to talk about a couple of things that are interesting. And first, I want to talk about how Starz played into it. And Starz is a very unique situation because when Ash vs. the Evil Dead dropped on Starz, Starz was trying to go big. They were trying to start their own content, as Bruce said. And of course, they did have some pretty big hit series. Ash vs. the Evil Dead kind of came out of the gates really strong with that opening season and then just kind of tanked off. Did poorer in season 2, did much poorer in season 3, and they kind of knew going into the end of it when they did the big cliffhanger at the end of season 3 that they might not get picked up. And unfortunately, as it was going, it didn't get canceled till about a month and a half after the finale aired. When that happened, we didn't know we were getting season 4 until, of course, it was canceled, and then we've just been wondering what happens in the future in that wasteland with Ash and Brandy and the cyborg and everything that could possibly happen in Ash versus the Evil Dead. And it was a shame because if it could have ran 1 or 2 more seasons, I know Bruce had said on numerous occasions the plan was 5. He didn't want to do more than 5, and that's why he was like, I'm done being Ash. I mean, I was going to give it 2 more years, but that's kind of where it is, and we're well past 2 years since the conclusion. But the interesting thing he said, and this is what he's talked about many times on the publicity jacket for Evil Dead the game, is that he still sounds like Ash. And as he said here, my voice isn't beat up. I still sound like him. And that leads to the possibility, as he said, of the talks are there now for an animated series. And we've seen a lot of really good gritty adult animated series on HBO Max or Netflix. I mean, Castlevania jumps out is kind of like the benchmark. It was such a great series, but also really gritty. You've been seeing for decades, Japanese anime has brought really hardcore, gritty stuff to animation, and I think it's a really good place. And let's be honest, we all know that Ray Santiago and well as Dana De Lorenzo were willing to come back because they voiced their own characters in Evil Dead the game, so there's no reason to think they wouldn't jump at reprising their roles in the series. And this makes a lot of sense because it seems in live action, the way Bruce has been talking a lot at Comic-Con is they want to leave the live action alone. They do not want to continue Bruce or any of the characters for that matter story live action, and that's kind of sad to hear, but it is what it is. But if they go into animation, it could set up a whole great world. Like, for example, there's really no limits at that point of what they can do because animation isn't limited by what you can afford to do per se, special effects wise, versus what can be actually done with camera and settings, etc., or what Bruce could capably do in his state at his age at this point. Now, Bruce is in great shape, don't get me wrong, but that physical demand that Ash requires is really tough to do, and he doesn't want to do it anymore, and I can't blame him. He's put in his 40 years. We thank Bruce every day for what he has done for the character and for the community. And the last thing I will say is that animation is probably the perfect format because you can do what they did with the comics, and he can kind of have all these wild adventures. They can go wherever they want. If they can get the licensing for other characters, they can do crossovers in the series and make things a little more while still expanding the canon of the Evil Dead universe. It's a really exciting thing to think about, and of course, as he said, him and Sam are in negotiations now to land that somewhere. So it looks like this project could be moving forward, and of course we'll be following if we have any more news on that on the channel. Thanks for watching, and later mates.